Assemble around, for we have some very exciting news to tell. If you are getting SSI, STI, or VA benefits, you will be receiving an additional $2,600 in checks from President Biden. This is because he has approved for not one, but two SSI checks. Let's celebrate this much-needed pick-me-up. Let's dissect it a little further now. Thanks to President Biden's approval, seniors receiving VA, SSDI, and SSI benefits will get an additional $973. That's right, an additional $973 to help with bills, food, and other spending, or even to treat yourself to something nice. It's similar to receiving a small financial lifeline just when you need it. Why, though, is this news so thrilling? Let's simply take a moment to recognize the enormous impact that this additional cash can have for many veterans, older citizens, and those with disabilities. These benefits are vital, giving necessary help for living expenses on a daily basis. It feels like a weight has been taken off their shoulders with this extra financial boost, providing comfort and security in these difficult times. Furthermore, the fact that President Biden approved these checks shows how dedicated he is to helping those in need and making sure that no one is left behind. It is obvious that the well-being and dignity of all citizens are prioritized when one acknowledges the significance of these benefits and works to improve them. Let me briefly explain how these benefit programs operate for those of you who are unfamiliar with them. When you apply for government benefits for the first time, such as Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, Virginia Pension or Compensation, or SSI, it can take several months or even more to process and approve your claim. You're not getting any of the monthly payments you were meant to receive throughout that waiting period. You are therefore entitled to back pay or retroactive benefits for all of the missing payments made during the processing period once you are ultimately authorized. Additionally, you will get the approved higher monthly payment amount retroactively if it is higher than what you were previously receiving. Therefore, the amount of back pay may wind up being quite large, contingent on the calculation's backward date. In my instance, I was qualified for Supplemental Security Income, SSI payments a few years ago, and I was now getting $794 per month from that program. My living situation improved, though, and I was qualified for a larger payment amount. As a result, I had to go through a drawn-out redetermination process in order to have that payment level raised, and in August of last year, I was eventually accepted. However, it has taken until now, 8 months later, for all of the retroactive funds to be accounted for and sent into my account. Let's examine the specific amounts I really received from this most recent direct payment. First, the $2,600 lump sum, which pays the August of last year's difference between my previous $794 payment and the new $1,767 payment. In other words, of that $973 difference, 8 months' worth is paid out as a one-time, retroactive payment. My regular monthly SSI payment has therefore been permanently boosted to that $1,767 figure, effective this month, which is an additional $973 per month over what I was receiving previously. If you are acquainted with SSI payment amounts, you may be aware that the maximum federal benefit rate for an individual in 2023 is $1,767. I was therefore eligible to be upgraded to the maximum payment level in light of my living circumstances and meager additional sources of income. The additional $973 I get each month is a huge financial game changer for me. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably already know that I've had a lot of trouble saving up enough cash for necessities like food and toiletries, as well as necessities like rent, utilities, transportation, and prescription drugs. There have been numerous instances where I've had to borrow money from friends and family, visit food pantries, or prioritize which expenses I could pay this month over those that had to be ignored because I simply couldn't afford the necessities. Living in those conditions and making only a few $100s a month has at times been nearly unbearably stressful. But now that my monthly salary has increased by almost $1,000, it's really changed my entire life. I will truly be able to afford a respectable rental arrangement without having to worry about facing eviction. I don't have to worry about disconnections or late fines because I can pay my utility and other home payments on time. It will be possible to budget for transportation expenses, such as gas, insurance, car or taxi maintenance, and ride-sharing fees. Possibly most significantly, I won't have to continuously struggle and hustle to pay for groceries and meals. No more relying too much on food pantries and banks. Rather than consuming processed junk food or going without meals on some days, I can purchase fresh fruit, protein sources, and healthy items. Even though maintaining a healthy diet is crucial, particularly when treating medical concerns, it's often neglected when finances are tight. This boost in cash gives me chances that I haven't had in years, beyond just the necessities of survival. Hopefully, instead of living paycheck to paycheck and always on the verge of disaster, I can start putting some money aside in savings as an emergency cushion. In order to build the abilities I'll need for future work, I might be able to enroll in some community college courses or receive on-the-job training. Easy items like a haircut, new shoes and clothing, or reasonably priced entertainment and self-care become options. It's like getting an additional bonus to receive a sizable lump sum payment on top of the monthly increase. I can instantly catch up on any missed bills, overdue rent or mortgage payments, utilities, and other necessities that have accumulated penalties, fees, and interest with a $2,600 retroactive sum. I'm able to start restoring my credit by paying off minor outstanding payments to creditors. A portion of it can be saved for any impending need, such as purchasing a dependable used car if I don't have a means of transportation, paying for unpaid medical bills and medications, or taking care of any other sporadic recurrent obligations that have been put off for far too long. Depending on the circumstances, a portion of a lump sum payment might even cover neglected small home upkeep and repairs. And ideally, after my finances are stabilized, I should strive to save as much as possible in an emergency fund, so that in the case of a disruption or unforeseen expenses in the future, I won't have to worry about falling behind on my payments. Having even a small amount of money set aside, like $1,000 or so, can go a long way toward preventing late fines, evictions, power shutoffs, and other consequences that can quickly worsen someone's financial circumstances. Naturally, an unrestricted amount to spend does not accompany a retroactive lump sum. It is still a set quantity that requires careful budgetary planning. Upgrading legitimate needs like housing or transportation is one thing, but impulsive spending on wants or needless large expenditures can quickly deplete the funds. The secret is to prioritize paying off debt, paying for necessities on time, and stabilizing your living arrangements. Any remaining money can then be used to improve your financial foundation and save for short-term objectives like savings. Even though it's thrilling to finally receive this long-awaited payment, many SSI, SSDI, and other recipients have had a very difficult, perplexing, and drawn-out journey to get here. Additional government perks. It is standard procedure to deal with redeterminations on a regular basis, proof requirements, caseworker errors, and other administrative hassles. However, the sheer amount of red tape and waiting is extremely taxing, particularly when you are depending on those benefits to survive. When I became aware of changes to my circumstances that would have made me eligible for a prospective payment increase, I had to go through the process of re-verifying and supplying evidence of my living condition, income, resources, and other qualifying factors more than a year ago, according to the Social Security Administration. Even though they sent in all they asked for, the process was always being delayed by problems, demands for further proof, and other issues. I was once months behind schedule because it appeared that a caseworker had either misplaced or improperly processed some of my documentation. When inquiries were made and updates were sought, an interminable cycle of ambiguous answers, such as, "The request is pending review," or "A decision will be made in 30 to 90 days, would occur, only for those periods to pass. When I called the 800 numbers, I got mixed answers or was put on hold for a lengthy period without getting through. After over a year of this and my continuous follow-up, last August, I finally received an approval letter stating that my payment level will be retrospectively boosted to the maximum benefit amount. That implied to me that the extra funds would be processed immediately, but that was only the initial stage. Even after approval, submitting the necessary paperwork to a different entity responsible for processing the actual payments and releasing the funds took many additional months. I'll be sending pay stubs, bills, and other financial documents in order to confirm my income and resources one more time, for the nth time. It seemed like jumping through hoops, but at least there was now hope. 8 whole months after it was first approved, the money was finally released this week and deposited into my direct deposit account.